Have you ever woken up in a strange place with no memory of how you got there? Well, today's disappearance is even stranger because not only did this man wake up in a strange place, he never woke up at all. On March 2019, 32-year-old Marcus Hale checked into the Cityscape Hotel, a budget hotel near downtown Denver, Colorado. He'd be staying 2 nights. March, and security cameras clocked him getting into his room at 11:04 p.m. What we don't know is what happened in that room. Was Marcus watching TV, FaceTiming friends, or maybe reading a book? We'll probably never know. But it's likely whatever he was doing was too eventful, because if he'd been making a lot of noise, someone would have complained. The walls were thin and the neighbors didn't report anything. When housekeeping came by the next morning to clean the room, they found it locked from the inside. According to them, the lights were on, the TV was blaring static, and Marcus's belongings were untouched, meaning he'd left in a hurry. That's odd because when he checked in the night before, he'd planned to stay 2 nights. He had unasked for another room, and there was no reason for him to leave in the middle of the night. The front desk called up to the room several times, but there was no answer. After about 15 minutes, they let themselves in using their master key. Inside, they found the room exactly as housekeeping had described it. It was then that they noticed something strange. No one was registered to stay on that floor. They checked the bookings and confirmed that Marcus's room was on the 16th floor, a floor that didn't exist. At this point, it seemed clear that something strange had happened, so the hotel called the police. When officers arrived, they found nothing out of the ordinary. They searched the room thoroughly, finding no signs of a struggle, no smashed glass, no broken furniture. The window was closed and locked from the inside. The air conditioner was running, and its filter was clogged with dust, meaning it hadn't been used recently. In fact, the whole room looked like it hadn't been used recently. The bed was unrumpled. The clothes hamper was empty. Nothing had been moved. The bathroom was spotless, the toilet unflushed, and Marcus's stuff was still in his suitcase. Outside, officers checked the fire escapes and found no signs of Marcus. They also searched the area using drones and helicopters, but their search turned up nothing. It was almost as if he'd vanished into thin air. After checking with the hospitals and running his fingerprints, the police concluded that he was most likely still alive, just missing or hiding. His wife told the press that she and Marcus had argued over the phone the day before he disappeared, but she didn't think that he'd taken her seriously. She'd asked him to move in with her, and he'd responded by hanging up the phone and booking a hotel room. His friends and family said that he'd been under a lot of stress lately, and he'd mentioned the idea of disappearing. But they'd all assumed that he was joking. That was 8 months ago. Today, the case is still unsolved. The police still haven't found any evidence explaining how Marcus went missing. There's no sign of foul play, but there's also no sign of where he could be. If you were staying in that room, what would you do? Would you check the obvious places first, or start with the less obvious? In this case, the police started with the obvious. They put a lot of effort into searching outside the room, but perhaps they should have started by searching inside the room. To the untrained eye, it might look like a simple crime scene, but there could be tiny details pointing in the direction of what really happened. Things like small scratches or spots that seem out of place. Marcus's room might have had clues like that, but unfortunately, the hotel cleaned the room less than 24 hours after he disappeared. That seems crazy now, but at the time, it made sense. They didn't think that Marcus was truly missing. They thought that he was just hiding. But once the police got involved and it became clear that Marcus had truly disappeared, the search of his room should have been a lot more thorough. Maybe one day someone will figure out what happened to Marcus. Until then, though, his disappearance remains one of the greatest mysteries of our time. Do you have any theories? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.